Hello to everyone. I am Indurok, and today I wanted to talk about Zelda games, since I had talked about Mario games before. So, to start off, my very first Zelda game is Link to the Past, and that had been my only Zelda game until I was like 14 when my dad gave me a DS for, I think, my birthday. I don't know, my birthday is 2 weeks before Christmas. Sometimes I tend to forget what I get a present for, which my present was for. But yeah, and then as I believe I had mentioned before, I have been working on getting legitimate copies of DS games that I have on this card that my dad kind of downloaded games onto. Questionable methods, but anyway, like so that's how I played my second Zelda game, which is Phantom Hourglass. And for a while, I had not played any other Zelda game until a couple of years ago when my uncle let me play Ocarina of Time. And after that, I, well, I mean, like, first of all, my thoughts on Ocarina of Time. I really love the game. But I did have trouble with the water temple at first. And so the first time I played Ocarina of Time, I used a walkthrough to get through the water temple. But nowadays, I can get through the water temple just fine. But yeah, that was a bit of a struggle for me. After that, I played Majora's Mask, which I actually like more than Ocarina. Again, I had to follow a walkthrough in order to find all the masks and stuff. But I mean, I think I played through it without a walkthrough the first time, except for like getting through the dungeons and stuff. I used walkthroughs to get through those, and but I really like that game because of the darker tone that the game has overall. And like especially like like the music for the last few hours, like before the moon like hits, before the moon impacts, like that shit was just dark. But and I remember like I was a little unsure about playing that game because I thought it was going to be like one of those games that you have like a time constraint on, but then eventually I figured out that you just like reset everything, that you could just reset everything and whatnot, and it's not as complicated as I thought it would be. But yeah, that's like probably my second favorite Zelda game. So I don't remember which one I played after that, but I think it was Wind Waker, and that's also a really good. That's also a good game. However, I was a little like it was a little disappointing that like for the first little bit of the game, like you can't just go anywhere you want. Like whenever you try to sail to some areas, like you're very limited to where you can go before your boat tells you that you can't go this way. But I think it was. I think you can. I think it's after the is it the forest dungeon. I don't remember what you call it. Yeah, where the Deku Tree is. The area where the Deku Tree is. That place where you have to get my car. Or no, wait. Or is it after? Is it after you play the first one with the Dragon Roost Island, where you can then go wherever you want to all the islands, or is it after the second one? Or is it after the one after that? Like with the. I don't remember. I just remember being kind of disappointed about that. But I was kind of surprised to hear that at first when the game came out, like people weren't really into it. But then again, I played Phantom Hourglass, and that had kind of a similar art style. But of course, it was DS-ified, so the quality of the images of the character models was kind of bleh. But still. I think it was after that when I played Twilight Princess, which is my favorite Zelda game. One of the biggest reasons is because Wolf. Because Wolf. I like Wolf. But I also kind of just like the general like quality of like the visual quality of the game. I mean, like because of how small the discs are for the GameCube, like I kind of figured that it wouldn't be easy to get the same kind of visual quality of like PS2 games or Xbox games or whatever. Because I remember thinking that like Shadow of the Colossus looked more like a friggin' like PS3 game rather than PS2. And I kind of thought that like Twilight Princess looks like really good for a GameCube game. And I'm not very good at explaining stuff, so I don't really want to try to talk about why Twilight Princess is my favorite game, because like I struggle to get any coherent sentences out if I'm gonna try to explain anything. Like I always have trouble explaining anything to anybody. Like I can write it out just fine. I'm good at like writing stuff out. Like if I want to explain something, I can write it out a lot easier than I can say it. But like I can't do it verbally. So let's just go on with the original Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda game. I first played it on my uncle's NES, so we had to hook it up to my TV and like with the old ass freaking cord and stuff, and had to have the TV on a specific channel to be able to see the game. And I kind of, and like, I'm not a huge fan of that game, especially because of just like, because like, I started off like I did the first temple first, like I think it's the first one, Temple number 1, and then I somehow ended up going to a temple much higher than that. Like, I don't remember what it was, like 6 or 7 or 8, somewhere within that. And like, it was, I was kind of disappointed in the game at first. And then, again, of course, I followed a walkthrough. And I managed to beat it using a walkthrough. But then I tried playing that game again, but like I played it on my with the, I forget what it's called. It's for the GameCube. It has like the first and second Zelda games, as well as the first two as well as the N64 games on it. Uh, like a collection or something. I forget where it's called, but like I tried playing the first Zelda game on there, and it's kind of disappointing how small the D-pad is for the GameCube controller, because I ended up using the control stick to move my character, which was a little awkward at first because in the original Zelda you can't move diagonally. But after a while I did get used to it, and I was able to control it just fine after a little while. And I couldn't even find the first dungeon anymore. Like, what is with these old ass games and being so damn difficult? Anyway, after that, I tried playing the second game. What's it called again? Adventures of Link? Something like that. But, like, again, it was kind of a similar issue with controls, using the stick to move my character around, but after a while I got used to it. And I I managed to beat the first dungeon, uh, dungeon, but then I got kind of stuck, and I came up across like what I assumed there's like supposed to be a bridge, like later on, but I had no idea how to make that happen, and I didn't even know where to find the second dungeon, and so yeah, I kind of just gave up on that game, even though I did enjoy that game for the most part. I think more than the first game. Now, Breath of the Wild is like I remember playing that in like 2022. I've spent so many hours just playing that for like the whole month of like October, because like because I remember while waiting for trick-or-treaters to come, I was playing the game. Like, I was playing Breath of the Wild while waiting for trick-or-treaters to come by, and just whenever, like, after they would leave with the candy, I would just play the game, and then people come by, I give them candy, I continue playing the game while waiting for more people to come. Like, I just spent so much time playing that game. And yesterday morning, I beat that game again, and I was planning on playing Tears of the Kingdom because my uncle has that game. He also has the remake of Link's Awakening, which I figured I might as well also play. And so, but instead, I decided to try Skyward Sword, which which at first I wasn't entirely sure about because my uncle wants me to avoid using the Joy-Cons because of because there were some issues with the Joy-Cons on his old Switch, and he didn't want me to like wreck them. So I had purchased my own controller for it. And I wasn't sure if I would even be able to play Skyward Sword because I thought it's supposed to be using motion controls and stuff. Because, of course, the game was originally for the Wii. But I realized that you can. But then the game showed that you can use the stick. You can use this stick to swing your sword, which I thought was kind of weird. But I mean, I can get used to those controls. I had already gotten used to using a sword like that. But it was a little weird when I first started playing that game, Skyward Sword, because of I was expecting to be able to turn the camera, but I did learn eventually that if you hold the left bumper, you can turn the camera. But shit, what was I gonna say? I suddenly forgot what I was gonna say. I don't know, for the most part, I enjoy the game, but I haven't even left Skyloft yet. I've literally passed the 4-hour mark. I've literally played the game for 4 hours, and I've gotten the goddess sword, and haven't even gone down to the surface yet. That's kind of the thing with these openings in Zelda games, is I spend so much time in the opening village and stuff before I go out and start my adventure. It's always kind of sad to have to leave the villages, when that you start off in. I always feel somewhat sad to have to leave because of just how peaceful it is and how nice people are. Most of the people are. Because Groose, because Mido. I don't think there was anyone in Outset Island who's a jerk. I don't think. I don't think there's anyone who's a jerk in Ordon Village either. I guess it's just those two games. Unless there are any that I've missed from games that I haven't played. But for the most part, I am enjoying Skyward Sword. And I was not expecting to be able to play it the way that I am with a controller. But I figured I'd play that game first before I do Tears of the Kingdom. But I might also play Link's Awakening too first, before that. I don't think there was anything else to talk about. Well, I could mention the fact that I struggled a lot with the first boss in Twilight Princess, the big the big plant monster, because Because you know that monkey that helps you and like brings out bombs for you to use. I kept like bringing the bombs to me and then sending them to the boss, and it did absolutely nothing, and I was getting really frustrated. So I had to the point where I had to look up what I was supposed to do. And then I read something that said that you're supposed to like target the bomb like as the monkey is swinging, and then target the boss, and that's how it's supposed to be done. Which doesn't make sense. Why can't it work with just me, with like me, like, because I would just target the bomb and then send the boomerang to it and it brings it back to me, and then why shouldn't it work if I just send it from myself to the boss? Like, what's the deal there? How does that make sense? I do like the boss fight of Twilight Princess though. Like, I mean, it's a pretty long ass battle because like it started because it has like what, four different phases where it starts off like with Zelda being possessed, and then after that you fight Ganon as a big pig monster, which I can't, which like the final battle of Breath of the Wild made me think of a bit. Like with the same kind of like four-legged pig that you have to fight. And then after that, there's the horse chase with Ganon Barf. And then the final sword fight with him. And I really like the ending of Twilight Princess. Oh wait, there was something I forgot to say about like um Ocarina of Time, was that like when I actually beat that game, when I got to the very end of it, like when it gets to the point where it's like the end, like that, because like I remember thinking because like that gave me like a feeling that no other video game ever gave me. Like it was like just it was like some kind of sense of relief that like I just never felt with any other game, with like going on this long ass journey and fighting all those bosses, getting all the things, the medallions, and fighting Ganondorf, and like just I don't know, like I don't know, but I don't really know any other way to describe it. Like it just I don't know. I felt a strange sense of like relief that I don't feel from other games. Like I don't know. Like it was the kind of relief where like I've gone on this long journey and I'm finally back to where I belong. Like that kind of a feeling, like something like that. I don't know. Like I don't know how to describe it. I just don't know. But that's kind of the feeling I got when I completed Ocarina of Time for the first time a couple years ago. Because I had only played a little bit of it. Like literally all I can remember from way back in my childhood of playing Ocarina of Time. It was someone else's game, so I didn't have a chance to play very much of it. I literally just remember like crawl like the whole like crawling through a whole thing and just being inside the Deku Tree and using the slingshot to shoot at things. That's stuff like that. That's like all I can remember from way back when. Because like I had a friend in an old apartment building I used to live at who would have other friends come over, and they had like like an original PlayStation, which was also how I had heard about Abe's Odyssey. Because like I remember like bits and pieces of like cutscenes from that, and I also remembered the open like the main menu when you see Abe. He's like, "Hello," looking at the camera while you're in the main menu. That's an unrelated game. Why am I talking about that? That was also how I had first played Donkey Kong 64. Again, unrelated, but like ever since playing that for the first time, like it was the multiplayer that we played mainly. But like that's kind of how that music had just been like stuck in my head forever. The do 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 do. You know that. But yeah, like pretty much like beating all the Zelda games. Like when I get to the end, I feel like completely satisfied. Like it's like I don't know. Zelda is just like one of my all-time favorite favorite franchises, I guess. Like, and after playing Metroid Prime, the Metroid series is also another favorite of mine. I don't think there's anything else to really say about the Zelda games that I wanted to say. I think that's pretty much it. So I sure can't wait till I actually have my own copies of all these games because literally because like I only own well I have this SNES Classic, so I can certainly say that I do own Link to the Past, but the only other Zelda game I actually own, oh, aside from Phantom Hourglass, because I did buy an actual copy of that, is Wind Waker that my uncle gave me because he had two copies. And because like he said one of the copies was given to him by a friend or something. And so he gave me that copy. And so I have my own Wind Waker. So I technically have three Zelda games. And any other Zelda game is my uncle's. Ocarina of Time, uh, when Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Link's Awakening. Because like he put because like he set up an account for me on his Switch, and so I've been able to play the games that he has on there. But he also has the Zelda collection for the GameCube with Legend of Zelda, uh, Adventure of Link, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. I don't like I don't like the N64 games with the GameCube controls, mainly because like just specifically the C stick controls. Everything else is fine, but I don't like playing the Ocarina using the C stick. Like it makes more sense with the Wind Waker, but like it just doesn't work for me with the Ocarina. So I haven't bought. So I kind of stopped playing that. Oh, well, my uncle also has like I did mention that I played the the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time, which is also my uncle's game. But I think that's a really good game. I think the game's better on the DS than it is on the N64. But since I don't know how to record 3DS, and I mean, because I tried looking for like equipment to be able to record like 3DS games, but I haven't found anything. So I have no idea what to do about that. So I'm just gonna. So that's just not gonna happen. So that's why I'm playing the N64 version for making videos on YouTube. On YouTube. Oh wait, no, there is another Zelda game that I did play a bit of. Um, it was on the Game Boy. It was a GBA game. Um, Min- Minish Cap, is it called? Because I remember it also had that kind of like the Toon Link sort of looking model of Link. It was similar, sort of a cartoony style like Wind Waker, but it was, well, pixelated. But it was like that. I think that's the game, Minish Cap. That was one of the first games I actually added to my video games wish list on Amazon but it was like super expensive. I don't know how much it would be now, or if it's even available anymore, because I've had that on my wish list for a while, but I don't know. So I guess I think that's all that there is to really talk about here. I've pretty much talked about all the games that I have played. Anything else I would have like watched, like, because like I did watch the Game Grumps play Skyward Sword, but then after a while, like there was a point where they kind of stopped playing it for a while, I think, and I kind of grew away from their channel. I stopped watching their videos, and apparently they had continued the game at some point, but I just hadn't bothered to go back to watching it. I mean, one of the most recent things that I remember from their videos of that game is, um, what's the song called? Addy, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It's the one with the buddy buddy booty, yummy, buddy buddy booty, yeah, buddy buddy booty, yummy, yummy, wah. Whatever he would say, like just saying gibberish. I mean, that I don't think that's the most recent video I had seen. I did see the one that was after that. I remember that. I don't remember where exactly it was that they were when I kind of stopped watching them. But I'm quite interested to see how Skyward Sword turns out. If Fee is how I remember her, I'm pretty sure that I will get somewhat annoyed of her. But for the moment, she hasn't been an issue because I haven't really gone anywhere yet. I'm still in Skyloft. Been there for 4 hours of gameplay. If I were to do a Let's Play series of that, I'll probably be spending less time there because, well, when you start a game, you spend a lot of time in places than when you play it a second time. It takes a lot less time to get to start moving forward through the game. But I am interested in seeing how this game turns out. Like I said, controls were a little weird, but I tend to get used to controls pretty easily, except when I'm except for when I'm playing a game on one console and then I'm playing a game on another console like because like every time I'm because like every time I play an Xbox game after I've played a Nintendo game, like whether it be the Super Nintendo or Switch, I keep pressing wrong buttons. The B button on Xbox is for back, not the A button on the Nintendo controller being the select. I keep getting them mixed up. It's like the A and B buttons on Nintendo controllers are like reversed. They're like swapped on the Xbox controllers. Well, actually, seeing the layout of the buttons like on an Xbox controller compared to a Nintendo controller, the A button is where the B button would be, and the B button is where the A button would be. Well, actually, also X and Y are also swapped. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even realize that that's how that was. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to stop now. I think I've talked enough. But it's kind of a shame that there isn't a lot of people here I can talk about this stuff with except my uncle. My uncle is like the one person I can talk about video games with. Because he's been playing video games for decades. For over 40 years. Despite the fact that, like, he hasn't even played Skyward Sword, or apparently he hasn't played Tears of the Kingdom yet. I would be interested in playing some of the newer Metroid games, but of course, I haven't even completed Metroid Prime 2 yet, so I wouldn't want to play the Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime 4 is like the newest game, right? But of course, I haven't played the third one yet. Because, well, first off, I don't have a Wii. So that wouldn't happen until I get one. And now I'm talking about something unrelated again. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here. So that's the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.